Welcome to the fourth video on the EMIT Carbon Calculator tool. In this video we'll be having a look at the Carbon Data tab over here. So once you click on the tab, the page should look like this. Now this is where we'll add our project carbon data from the materials that we've used, or the plant, or the utilities, etc. This table here, this is where all of our projects will be stored, and as you can see they're minimized at the minute. If we open one project out, the table's fairly straightforward. First of all, what we have are the tasks. Now the tasks just allow us to categorize our emissions, so it doesn't just look like one big table. We've split it out into nice tasks that we can see. The next section is the category, so where have the emissions come from? So in this first task here, the category is plant, so that means these emissions have come from any plant sources, such as an excavator, like here. It then narrows down further to what type of specification the excavator is. So in this case we have a JCB 3CX compact. When we choose this, it automatically generates a unit for you, so the unit for plant will be in hours, and then you input the baseline quantity. So this will be 30 hours of JCB usage here. Then this will generate a baseline tons of CO2 emitted value for you. In this case, 30 hours of the JCB 3CX compact has emitted 0.42 tons of CO2. And as you can see, this carries on throughout the whole project. It's all separated out into tasks, then categories, then materials or plant, and then the specification of material or plant, and so on. Until we get to the bottom and we get to our project total of 431.69 tons of CO2, and that would be everything added together. And just to note, if you offset any carbon with tree planting, rewilding, or peat bog restoration, that will take carbon off your final value. So over here, this is where we add the carbon data. So reused materials, that means that any material on site has just been moved from point A to point B and it hasn't been treated or anything. So this could be soil, for example. You could dig soil up and you could move it and use it elsewhere on the site. So that would be reused materials, and that would have zero emissions. Recycled materials, this tab is if you've used any materials that have came from recycled sources. So steel, for example, if it's been recycled and then you use that recycled steel, you'd add it in the recycled materials section. New materials, this is probably going to be the most common tab. This is where any materials you have used have came straight from the manufacturer or the builder's merchant. Plant, so if any plant has been used, you'll add it in this tab here. Transport, so any transport of goods, materials or people will be added in this section here. Utilities, so any gas, electricity, water for the project or the HQ will be added in here. And then waste disposal, this is where you will add your waste. Not to get confused with reused and recycled materials, these two tabs up here, these are materials that you have used on your project. If you want to send recycled materials to the waste, you'd add it in here. Carbon offset measures, so this is where you add your carbon offset. So again, tree planting, peat bog restoration or rewilding, you'd add it in there and it would take carbon off the final total. And then user defined, this is where you add your own carbon data, given that you know the carbon value of the thing that you're adding. So over here we have a search tab. We have loads of different filters that you can search from. So for example, we can search by project name. So if we search this project here, it will only come up with carbon data from that project. We can search it down further. We can add more than one filter if we want to. So we can add the project name and then the carbon element category, and we can press search again and it will narrow the search down even further, as we can see here. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.